Welcome back, everybody. In case you don't remember me, my name is Nick, and I'm an actor and teaching artist with Oregon Children's Theater. And I'm excited to share with you a game today inspired by Brown Bear, What Do You See? Another Eric Carle favorite. And this time, instead of reading the book with you acting it out, we're going to play a game inspired by all of the characters and beautiful paintings that Eric Carle created in this book. So right now, your classroom is going to transform into a canvas. A canvas is what most artists paint on, and you're going to become all the different characters and beautiful creations that Eric Carle paints in your classroom. So, you are now all going to transform into magical paints. So when I say magical paints, you're going to transform into just a glob of paint on the painter's palette that is the floor of your classroom. So let's try that right now. I'll say magical paints, and you'll collapse down into a teeny tiny little glob of paint on the ground. Very nice. And magical paints. We are now all different globs of magical paint. And we're going to transform into some of the things from Brown Bear. So, when I tell you, be ready to transform into a Brown Bear. I want to see you turning into bears, growling around the room. Show me how your bears move. Being safe, of course. Moving around the space. Growling, being bears. Do you move on all fours? Or are bears up on two legs? Very nice. And magical paint. You're now once again little globs of paint on the ground, being ready to transform into our next beautiful creation. I would like to see you transform, remembering to be safe, transform into a red bird. Let me see your birds flying around the room, flying around. What do you see as you fly around the room? Remember to be safe. And magical paint. Give you a moment to settle in. Back as a glob of paint on a painter's palette. We are now going to transform into a yellow duck. We see you quacking around the room. And how do these little yellow ducks move? Are they waddling around the room? Are you using your arms like wings? Some people might be using your hands as the little bill of a duck. There is no wrong way to be a yellow duck. And magical paint. Give you a moment to settle in as magical paint. We're now teeny globs of paint, getting ready to transform into a blue horse. How do horses move? What do they sound like? You see you gallop around the room as your magical blue horse, remembering to be safe, moving about your space. And magical paint. You should all now be teeny little globs of paint on the ground. Very nice. Getting ready to transform into our next beautiful creation, which is a green frog. So how do frogs move? Let's see you jumping around the room, hopping around the room. What do frogs sound like? Very nice. I hear all sorts of ribbits and things hopping around the room. Very nice. And magical paint. You might even know what's next if you've read this book before. But I want to see you turn into a purple cat. Show me how your cats move around the space as a cat. What do cats sound like? Are they a happy cat? Maybe you're a happy cat and you're purring. Maybe you're meowing. Keep moving as a cat until you become a magical paint. Very nice. Ready? Next, we're going to transform into a white dog. So how does your dog move? Are you a really energetic and excited dog? Maybe these dogs are barking. Being safe. Remember, as we're moving around the space as a dog, our dog's moving on all fours. All right, and our dogs are going to transform into magical paints. Very nice. We'll give you a moment to settle in. Okay, be ready, because our magical paints next are going to transform into a black sheep. Black sheep. What does sheep sound like? How do the sheep move? How might they interact with one another as they move about the room? All right, continuing to be sheep, moving around the space, being safe, until you transform into magical paints. Magical paints collapsing back down onto the painter's palette as a little glob of paint. Now we're going to dip in the brush and see everyone transform into a goldfish. A goldfish. Let me see you swim around your room. Your room is now a fishbowl, and everyone is a goldfish swimming around. Are your arms your flippers? How are you swimming around your space? Very nice. All right, and swimming around until you become magical paints. Magical paints. Very nice. This next one might be tricky, because I'm curious to see how you turn into this next one. Because this is not a fish or a bear or a red bird. I want to see what happens when you turn into a teacher. A teacher. Show me how a teacher moves around your room. Very nice. How do teachers act? What do teachers say? How do teachers move around the classroom? And magical paint, magical paint. And last but not least, we will have you turn into children. Children. You can turn back into the young actors that you all are. Very nice job. Give yourselves a round of applause. And you can continue to play this game with your teacher or with your friends and family at home. And know that anytime you say magical paints, you'll collapse down into a little glob of paint, and you can transform into anything. You can give your teacher a list of ideas of different things that you can transform into and become literally anything in the universe. Thank you so much for playing this game with me today. I hope that you had as much fun as I did. And until next time, feel free to click on any of these links to check out more videos just like this, and I'll see you later.